Graduates, family, and significant others, it's my honor to welcome Jim Campbell to address our graduates today. Jim is a good friend of this campus and a true supporter of Ontario agriculture. He's joined here today with his wife, Joy. They have 3 children, 2 grandchildren. Very proud. He is very proud of the fact that his granddaughter, Larkin Campbell, is now 8th generation to live on the family farm, which is located just west of town in the former Harwich Township, right here on the Ridge Road. His education includes a BSc from UWO, an MBA from the University of Toronto. He was appointed as General Manager at Orford Farmers Co-op in March of 1999. In 2006, Orford Co-op merged with AGRIS Co-Operative and he was appointed as General Manager. And through his position there, he serves as a Director on Haggerty Creek Limited, a Director on the Great Lakes Grain, and President of Wheatley Elevators Limited. He is also a part of AGRIS Solar Cooperative, which is sponsored by AGRIS Co-op. It was chartered in March 2010. He is currently a member and officer in that organization, and today serves as Director and Secretary. It's the largest operator of microfit solar installations in Ontario, with 750 owned installations and another 250 being managed. He has served in a number of capacities in industry as well, as Director of the Canadian Feed Industry Association. In 2002 was elected as President of the Ontario Agribusiness Association after serving as Vice President and Treasurer. In 2005 he was appointed by then Minister of Agriculture in Ontario, Steve Peters, to the Grain Financial Protection Board and has served as Chair since 2011. And in 2007 was appointed to the board of the Southwestern Ontario Bioinnovation Network and served as Treasurer throughout its wind-up in 2011. And he's also actively involved in the local community. He's coached minor hockey and soccer, been a trustee in his church, past executive member of the local Junior C hockey team, and an executive member of his Optimist Club. He's a member of the Golden Acres Curling Club, and in 2011 was appointed by the Mayor of Chatham-Kent Municipal Council to represent agriculture on the newly formed Economic Development Advisory Committee. So please join me in welcoming Jim to the podium.
Well, thank you, Chris, and welcome everybody. I was given a couple of pretty specific instructions about today, most of which is don't let this last more than 11 minutes and Jim stay on script, which is never very easy, as many of you in the room know. And it certainly is, although I'm envious of the graduates here that I'm not from this college, certainly I feel at home every time I'm on campus here. And so with that, it is certainly an honor, a humbling honor for me to be asked to address this year's graduating class. To the 256 graduates in your 6 disciplines, you are to be congratulated on your accomplishments. And to your parents, friends, grandparents, spouses in attendance, you should be, and I'm sure you are, very proud. For me, addressing you today falls into that category of, what have I done to deserve this? Which I mean in a very positive way. You heard an introduction that tried to highlight in my career accomplishments that would make me worthy of giving you some advice. Well, in all honesty, I thought I had lots of advice to give when the committee asked me to address you. And unlike yourselves, I procrastinated in preparing this, and as today drew closer, I became less confident in what I might have as advice that would give you any value at all. So, to finally get started, I did what I presume most of you have done in the last couple of years when trying to complete an assignment. I Googled graduation speech. And lo and behold, hundreds of pages of information became available at my fingertips. And some of the best graduation speeches ever given were there for my review. I had never heard it before, but Steve Jobs in 2005 had addressed the Stanford grads, and that's going to go down in history as one of the most famous and inspiring. If anybody gets a chance to Google that, I suggest you do. But I digress. I certainly don't have the inspiring message that Steve provided to Stanford that day, but I do have some advice that I hope you'll remember at least until September or maybe a little longer. Today I want to talk to you about 3 pieces of advice, or maybe better said, as observations I have about work and to some degree life in general. Those 3 observations are: uncomfortable situations are the experiences that will shape your career. Continue learning, and more importantly, continue to change how you learn. And last and not least, put your leadership to work in creating change. There's an opportunity for you in your career that you have chosen or will still choose. Of course, it's easy for me to stay standing here, and it's a lot more intimidating from where you're sitting. Wondering what the future holds is an uncomfortable feeling. In my experience, opportunity will come as a result of finding yourself in these uncomfortable situations. And these situations, while seem isolated, when you look back, they're going to be the events that shape your career and your personal success alike. Unfortunately, when you're in one of them, like I am standing here right now, it doesn't seem like much of an opportunity. All the jobs you're going to have, all the career choices you're going to take are going to have some uncomfortable times. Times where you feel pressure to perform, uncertainty about the next step, lack of clarity about what is expected of you, even tasks that are beneath your pay grade. The strategy for success is not avoiding these situations, but making the best of them. I can remember just vividly a time early in my sales career where we were getting prepared in my first job for a farmer event, and it was a time for me to show off what I could do and why I was the right guy for the job that was given. It was time for the show. It was a day before, and about the middle of the afternoon, I found myself on the business end of a broom, sweeping what seemed like an enormous concrete parking lot. Sweaty and tired, I was at the point of saying, this is not the job I signed up for. What have I done to deserve this? Which isn't quite the same positive meaning. I wish I could tell you that at the end of that there was an exciting aha moment that came about, and all of a sudden somebody recognized that I was being underemployed, that I had a lot more potential than that, and that I was given a promotion right there and then, and somebody took the broom out of my hand. Well, the truth of the matter is, no, that didn't happen. I finished sweeping late that afternoon. I got home tired and sweaty, thinking to myself, boy, that sure was below my pay grade. The next morning, I got up, went to the show at the open house, smiled to myself at how good the parking lot looked, and nobody had noticed, nobody said a word. It wasn't until months later I was offered a promotion. My boss had come to me and said, Jim, we've got an opportunity for you in another area we'd like you to take. I asked him, well, why have you chosen me for this opportunity? And Bernie said, well, Jim, you've proven to be a hard worker and a team player, and I think you're going to do well with this opportunity. Only with hindsight could I then recognize that sweeping that lot would help build a reputation of being a hard worker and building in a team for the future. Accepting any new responsibility is full of uncertainty and uncomfortable situations. It is amazing what personal growth will come by accepting and ultimately seeking out those uncomfortable situations. Those that spend a lifetime avoiding them are missing out on so much. Even today, had I not accepted this invitation to speak to you, putting myself in an uncomfortable situation, I would not have read and watched and got to listen to Steve Jobs' address to the Stanford grads. Seek out and put yourself in these situations, and you will see, with the benefit of hindsight, just how they do shape your career and build your personal strengths and skills to take advantage of the opportunities that will come your way. In my work life, it is amazing how much technology has changed everything, and there seems to be no end in sight. In fact, the way technology is impacting the business of farming, just as an example, is no less than remarkable. Farmers now carry smartphones and tablets. Business is done over the phone and by text message. Farming equipment is almost always equipped now with GPS guidance, and auto steering, or hands-free driving, is now routine. The onboard diagnostics that's on tractors and combines and planters is something we would only consider applicable to NASA or maybe Formula One racing only a few years ago. We now have the capability of downloading data off a combine yield monitor in real time. Use that data to identify management zones for soil sampling before the combine has even left the field. Then that yield and soil data is put together to provide to a farmer variable rate maps for seed and nutrient application. And at the end, a drone or an unmanned aircraft is used to scout the field for pests and stresses. All of the data gathered through all these activities is then warehoused for a farmer and his advisors to access and utilize. I'm sure that invasion of technology is going to occur in every one of your careers, and is just like it is in farming. So what's the message? With my respect of my good friends up here, the message is just about every fact you've memorized here over the last 2 years will be obsolete before you even get a chance to use it. The tangible thing you have learned, and what will always be valuable in whatever career you take, is that you have learned how to learn. I know that in many of your courses it wasn't the memory work that mattered, but your ability to research and problem solve. Basically, you learned to continue learning. As with my example that has been termed big data in farming today, it is not the data that is important, but rather the knowledge that can be gained by understanding that data. The knowledge that leads to problem solving and ultimately the solutions that are generating value. The learning and problem solving skills that you learned here in your programs are the most important part of the diploma that is going to be conferred on you today. Don't waste that opportunity by thinking that as you hang the diploma on your wall at home, that your learning is now finally done. If I had not changed how I learned and had done it exactly the way I had done when I was your age, to get prepared for this speech, I'd have gone to something called Encyclopedia Britannica. Most of you don't know that, but that's actually a book with paper. Actually, I've learned something today. Today, I am following my notes on an iPad. This is actually the first time I did it. Doesn't mean you'll be successful the first time or you have to trust it. I do have my trusty paper notes just in case this all failed. Think about how things would be different if somebody even as humble as me hadn't continued learning how to learn. So those of you that don't continue learning and changing how you learn will look back and wonder why opportunities did not come your way. My third observation for today is about leadership. I know that another thing that's important in your learning here at Ridgetown has been designed to help you exhibit your natural leadership skills. You worked in groups, you were involved in extracurricular activities, not all of which you ended up on the front page of the Ridgetown paper for, and you've been given many other formal and informal opportunities to develop your leadership skills. In my experience, I observe that often I equate leadership with one's ability to embrace and ultimately lead change. You don't have to be a team leader in a work group. You don't have to be on the executive of a formal organization. You don't even have to be in a group environment at all to exhibit leadership. You can be working all alone and exhibit a great deal of leadership in how you react to change around you that is affecting your activity. I believe that great leaders are those who see how they can change first and affect the external environments around them before the environment forces them to change. People react very differently to change. You all know that. There's a proverb that I Googled to find out who wrote it. Well, one place it told me there was James Lovell of Apollo 13. Another place it said it was the LA Dodgers manager Tommy Lasorda. Even cosmetic queen Mary Kay has been attributed to this proverb. So who knows who wrote it, but I think it's true. There are three kinds of people. Those people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and then there are those who wonder what happened. Leaders are those people that make things happen. Using your leadership skills to identify and embrace change in whatever work you're doing, in the lab, at your desk, on the farm, will be a key element of your future success. And leaders don't just change for the sake of change, nor do they throw away well-proven solutions. Leaders ask questions, work to understand why things are done the way they are. Leaders know they need to take time to clearly understand the desired outcome of their activity. Leaders also know that not everyone around them will embrace the change, and they know they will only be successful if they gather the support of those around them. Leadership will be hard work for you. It might really be the result of embracing uncomfortable situations and a willingness to continue changing how one learns are maybe what creates leadership. I know that my career so far, I've found myself in many uncomfortable situations. I know that in my career so far, I have found myself, looking back on those uncomfortable situations, I can now see how they connected together to shape my career. But boy, when I was in them, you couldn't see it coming. In my career, I've had to change how I learn in incredible ways, as technology for me has had such an impact. I hate to remember, my career started before there even was an internet or Google. I also know, though, that I've been given many opportunities, and in the kind introduction that Chris gave, it can be said that I'm a leader. But then again, day to day and in the chair I sit, it doesn't feel like that very often. So in summary, I'm certainly envious of you graduates today, as I know there are vast opportunities just waiting for you to seize. So my humble advice again for you is, embrace those uncomfortable situations. Continue learning and changing how you learn, and put your leadership to work creating change. I congratulate you on your graduation and wish you nothing but success as you tackle the opportunities in front of you. Thank you.